Ready when you are, CB. Do I start in Canada or Mexico?
We didn't do Animal Kingdom.
You really hate us? This is Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank, and we are here with another great guest.
Oh my God, I am so excited.
It could be, I mean, this is up, like a couple of weeks ago we had Louis Gravance on, so for me that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
But now for you, Jen,
Yeah.
this is a huge one for you.
Sorry. We're trying to play it cool. Can we
All
play
right,
it cooler,
we'll keep it cool.
please?
All right, we'll totally
Okay.
keep it cool. So if you have been to Jellyrolls
Mhm.
over on the boardwalk,
Yeah.
you totally know who our guest is going to be. He is currently doing a multitude of live streams on Facebook, and they're totally awesome right now, especially during this crazy time we're living in. And so I'm just going to cut to the chase and introduce him right now. Scotty Kilwein. Scotty, what's going on?
Hey, welcome.
Much.
So excited.
Oh, it's so great to be here with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. My goodness, this is big.
Hey, it's not like we have anything else to do.
I know, right?
Oh, this is a pleasure. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to you guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Now, I will say that Jen was the one to first key me in to you, because Jen was living in Orlando during the mid 2000s there, so she was a frequent attendee of Jellyrolls more so.
And really, I think it might be, I don't think it was like my first bar I ever went to, but with mom and dad, I think it was the first bar I went to, because we were in Disney and I had like just turned 21 and we went to Jellyrolls. So I'm sure you were there at that point, and then that continued. And anytime I went down, like Jellyrolls was a place I had to go. It was one of my must-dos, Scotty.
That's awesome. It's funny because there are a lot of people that say that.
Mm-hmm.
All the generations seem to have fun at Jellyrolls.
Oh yeah.
You get the people that just turned 21, and then you get everything from there up to women that are celebrating their 80th birthday. It's the greatest thing. But the best is when the parents and the kids are having fun. I mean, you think of parents and kids at Disney World, but that's a whole different dynamic when your kids are 22, 23, 24 years old. It's a real fun experience to be at Jellyrolls.
Yeah, I think, and I had been for a few conferences for a company I previously worked for, and I was like, guys, we have to go to Jellyrolls. So whoever's going, if you want to be one of the cool kids, you got to go to Jellyrolls tonight. So I would take them all over there too when we would go. But yeah,
Scotty, what year did you start over at Jellyrolls?
So I started in 2002. For the listeners who might not know what it is, it's a dueling piano bar. So it's 21 and older. It's a really special place at Walt Disney World because there aren't many places that are only for 21 and older anymore.
Yeah.
They used to have Pleasure Island.
Yeah.
And now I can't really even think of another place that does kind of what we do.
That's true, with the level of entertainment. Yeah, totally.
And that's the thing too. So we're live entertainment. It's a nightclub. And it's located on the Disney BoardWalk resort. Yeah. So it's not really connected to the parks unless you consider Epcot, walking distance. But it's kind of off the beaten track unless you're staying at the BoardWalk or unless you already know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was a cast member in the late 90s going to Jellyrolls with like a group of people that I worked with and things like that. So that's how, when you weren't going to like the Pleasure Island on Thursday nights, you went to like Jellyrolls on Saturday or something like that. So yeah, then for Jen, like totally
so it's like same
lines
time
up. Yeah, totally lines up with your 21.
What? I don't do math. When was I 21?
You turned
2003.
So it's dueling pianos, and what we do is all requests, and so mostly it's people that come in and sit down, and a lot of times they'll just kind of think they're going to stay for an hour or stay for a round of drinks or maybe two. It's a lot of fun to see these people that just stumble in and don't think they're going to stay, and they stay the entire night.
Yeah.
We're doing everything. We're doing all requests. So if the audience thinks of it, they write it down on a napkin. They tell us what they like, and we do everything from Sinatra, Journey, and Billy Joel, and Elton John, and even like now we're doing new stuff too. So I'm talking Katy Perry and Bruno Mars, and like those are the new classics now.
Yeah.
So,
one of the things that makes me most nervous in life, I think, is putting a napkin on the piano. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be the one to go up. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. And I like sneak up, like, don't make eye contact, go sit down. I'm like, I just
they make it easier now, where the server will say, do you want me to take it up for you?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So everyone knows you as Scotty. Have you always gone by Scotty?
So I'm glad you asked, because when I started, there was a guy by the name of Scott that was a piano player. And so when they were making the schedule, they already had Scott on the schedule, and they said, you're going to be Scotty from now on. And I was like, okay. And then I really like, my mom used to call me Scotty Boy. My dad called me Scotty every once in a while.
Yeah.
So it really, I really loved it. And then everyone started calling me that. And so that's my thing now. I really like it. But it all started because they already had a Scott. And since I was younger than he was, I had to
So you were Scotty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's so funny. Yeah. We get that because as youngsters, or even now sometimes, but he will sometimes be referred to as Frankie. And by sometimes, I mean all the time if it's me. And if someone knows me from when I was a kid, like, friends' moms or whatever, they will still refer to me as Jenny. And I'm like, no one calls me that anymore.
Once in a while, I'll sneak in a Jenny on here, and she'll be like, what? What are you saying?
What'd you say?
That sounds weird.
Yeah.
So you're right. It does sound weird when people call me Scott, like when my wife is mad at me.
Yeah.
Calls me Scott.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Is it weird now to hear Scott when that used to be so normal for you, but not anymore? Yeah, that's so
Absolutely.
funny. So let's go from the beginning then, because you were telling me offline, you're originally from Pittsburgh, and that's kind of what got you to Jellyrolls. So can you tell us that story?
Yeah, I would love to. And I love this story. So Jellyrolls is a franchise. And so there were several around the country, Pittsburgh being the very first, and then Atlanta, Tampa, there was one in Texas. So now all of those have closed right now, except for the one that's at Walt Disney World. Okay. But being from Pittsburgh and knowing that Jellyrolls opened in 1992, I was a kid at that time. So I was like 5th grade, or I guess, no, 92, I would have been like 7th grade. So like, I'm a kid. We're going down to where Jellyrolls is in Pittsburgh, and there's this giant piano, like a fake piano. It's got to be like 18 feet tall. And so I would walk past this as a piano player as a kid, and I was always like, what is that place? What is this Jellyrolls thing? So fast forward to when I was in college, I went down there, and now I'm 21 and I'm old enough to get in. And I went down and I said, hey, this is really cool. Can I audition? And they said, yeah. So my brother and I auditioned, and we were both studying music in college. And so we auditioned, and it was fun and it was cool, and the guys were great. And they said, all right, yeah, so we want to hire you. And so we said, perfect, we're available June, July, and the beginning of August. And they're like, no, like we need like a full-time guy. This isn't a summer job.
Yeah.
And so
not an internship.
That's what we thought it was going to be. And they're like, no, you kind of need to be full-time. So my brother and I decided, we got to stick our nose to the grindstone and stick with college and really do this. We're committed to it. So after I graduated, I had a really hard time finding a job. I had a marketing degree, but had such a hard time finding any kind of a job. And this was September of 2001. Okay. So it was clearly a crazy time in the world.
Yeah.
So my sister told me about a place close to where I lived where they do dueling pianos. And she says, it's like Jellyrolls, but Jellyrolls had closed like a year and a half prior.
Oh, okay.
So, so I would play there on Friday nights, and it was all the same guys from Jellyrolls. And so I said, hey, can I sit in? And then they started giving me shifts. So it was a 1 night a week thing until one of the guys said, would you ever consider moving to Disney World? And I said, like, that's my dream. Like, that's my dream, is to work at Disney World.
Yeah.
And they said, well, there's a place called Jellyrolls in Disney World. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. They said there's a slot open. And so if you want, I can give the guy your info. And I was like, I'm already going to Disney World next week.
Oh
like it was like a week and a half, like from that point. Yeah. And I'm like, this is totally meant to be. So I went, I auditioned, and it was, and I've been there ever since. That was 2000. That was 2002. By the time I got connected with those guys.
Right.
So I started May 2002. It was this week that I had moved down 18 years ago.
Wow. Oh
yeah.
God.
So anyway, I know that was long-winded, but I hope I got all the info in.
Did you go to Disney a lot when you were a kid, Scotty? Or
yeah, that was our annual trip. That was our big family thing.
See, we probably all were there at the same time.
Yeah, so we would always go. It would be Easter break when we were really little, and then it was spring break when we were in college.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was always our thing, and of course the craziest time to go is I mean, that Easter week and spring break and Christmas are the craziest times.
Yeah. And then going back even further, how long have you been playing music, playing piano? I see a lot of instruments behind you, so I'm going to say maybe piano's not the only one you play, but.
Well, I mean, it really is. I mean, piano is my heart and soul. I play guitar. Like this guitar was given to me by my parents for Christmas. Okay. This was my dad's old guitar from when he was a teenager. This was a guitar that my dad bought like in the 80s.
Oh, awesome.
He didn't buy it. He won it at a raffle, like a school raffle. So like I don't know why we have like some shredding guitar. And then a ukulele I got on my honeymoon.
Nice.
I mean, I just kind of play them for fun. It's not for real. Piano's my real instrument.
Yeah. And when did you start playing piano?
My parents started me at 5. And that was the thing. Like you have to take piano lessons.
Yeah.
So I have 2 brothers. I've got a younger brother, I've got an older brother, and I've got an older sister who is 6 years older than I am. I know you guys have a lot of years between you guys. So my sister is 6 years older, and she never really got into the music thing. My 2 brothers and I, like we were always making music together.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Parents started us at 5, and of course I wanted to quit. There was a time, I think it was 6th grade, that like my piano teacher left town, and I started taking piano lessons from somebody else, and I hated it. And my parents didn't particularly like the teacher. And so I quit, and then went back to, like, my old piano teacher moved back to Pittsburgh, and we just happened to see him, and we said, hey, you're still teaching piano lessons. So got me back on track, got me ready for college, and I auditioned, and
That's awesome.
You mentioned your marketing degree. Do you write your own music? Were you and your brother making your own music, or are you just working on stuff that you love to hear?
Yeah. So that was kind of the idea was, I got a piano scholarship, and my older brother had a piano scholarship, and my younger brother got a percussion scholarship at the same school, University of Dayton in Ohio. Okay. And so the idea was, hey, they're paying us to go to school for music. Maybe we can get like a real degree while we're there. And so that was the thing. It wasn't even like it's a backup. It's like that was the legit way we were going. Okay. And the funny thing is that, we played music together and we always did that stuff. I just couldn't, I just couldn't not be a musician. For some for some reason, it just always was destined to be like, even though I got the marketing degree, and the thing about University of Dayton is they allow you to get multiple degrees in all kinds of stuff. So you could get an engineering degree and an arts degree, or things all around. So that was a really great opportunity, and I always thought that the music was going to get me through college, and the marketing was going to pay my bills.
Yeah,
and it just kind of was the opposite.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's amazing.
Now, my brothers and I, we did write a lot of music back in college, and our dream was to kind of be like Hanson. That was like, we wanted to be, that was our thing.
It's kind of the image I had in my head as you started saying, you started writing music together. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So my brother is a fantastic, my brother Mike is an incredible piano player, and he's always been. I've admired him as a piano player. My younger brother was the drummer, and so and I would play keyboard as well. So we had 2 keyboards and a drummer, and we also had at that time we had a 3-piece horn section because like ska was really big.
Yeah.
So the 6 of us, we had so much fun in college, and we put out 2 records, which was a lot of fun. We self-produced 2.
Nice.
And which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. So you mentioned the ska thing. So yeah, swing was, there was a lot of different genres of music like really hitting at the same time there,
That's
where
right.
There was like a transition between, 80s metal and, and pop and everything else, going into ska and the return to swing and the boy bands. So you were kind of right in that middle there, which made it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was kind of our thing. Like we thought if we could be kind of like Hanson with the pop sound, but like kind of like Squirrel Nut Zippers too, with like the horns and like the cool stuff. So we were kind of somewhere in the middle, and almost with like a Bare Naked Ladies kind of a humor to it. Yeah. So that was our thing.
Nice.
When you moved down initially and you started playing, did it just hit immediately, like the audience response? Was it clicking on all cylinders as soon as you got here, or was there some stumbling blocks along the way?
Well, you mean at Jellyrolls?
Anywhere. Living in Orlando, Jellyrolls.
Well, so when I play with my brothers, it is just, it's like kids playing. It's just organic, and it's perfect, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So there's something magical about that. So of course we had our terrible gigs. Everyone has. But we just tried to have so much fun in college playing together that, that was it. That was like the pinnacle of having fun on stage. So then, my brothers moved on to their careers, which ended up not being music.
That was going to be my question. If there's so,
So my one brother is in medical sales, and my other brother is in restaurant marketing.
Okay.
So now, luckily, they're both in Orlando now with me.
Okay.
So we had a good time. But when I first started at Jellyrolls, it was only me. I moved out of town from Pittsburgh, and I said, let's give this a go in Disney World. And it was rough the very beginning, trying to figure out my personality on stage, trying to figure out how to interact with the crowd. And I always relied on my brothers because we would have this organic back and forth. And it was just different that I didn't have them when I was at Jellyrolls. I was lucky to play with Ray, who was my partner for 15 years, I think. So we had a lot of good times together. So Ray was kind of like my third brother when it came to performing.
Yeah.
Jen, you mostly, because I guess that was part of my question too, because you were down there more often. So did you see Scotty with Ray most often?
Yeah,
I feel like, I just happened to see the same.
Yeah.
I never knew how the partners went, if it was always set.
Yeah, I think so. I think I did. And and even I feel like whoever the other two would be during the time, it always seemed like it was kind of similar, where I knew like, oh, if they're here, then they're probably here, or, was it always like that, or was that just coincidence? Like the 4, each night? Did that pretty much stay the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is always, it's always been 4 per night. You
Yeah.
know, on an occasion, if somebody got sick, we'd have to scramble, or we'll do 3 that night. But
Yeah.
mostly it was 4 per night.
Yeah.
And everyone had their kind of, we could all play together, but everyone kind of had their preference on partners and who had the most stage time together.
Right.
So it always worked out that if Ray and I were there together, or if we were there on the same night, we were always going to be together.
Yeah.
Just because we had so much stage time together.
Because what time do the players start playing? Is it 9? Is it? I don't know if I even remember.
We open at 7 and the music starts at 8.
Okay.
And so we've got 2 teams, and so the first team does the 8 o'clock, the second team does 9, first team does 10, then 11, then 12, then 1, and then we close at 2.
Wow. And how many nights a week are you there?
Usually it's 4 per week. It could be more and it could be less, but it's around 4.
Yeah.
We've got enough musicians on the roster where it's a really flexible schedule, and week by week is different. You know, like if somebody has like if my kids have a recital on a Thursday or something, and I don't have to be like, I need to get someone to fill in for me Thursday. I just ask for it off, you know?
Right.
Or, and then that way, if there are people that always come on Saturday night, if they happen to be local, then they'll see different players because it's not the same 4 guys every Saturday.
Right. That's cool.
See, now I have an outline. I had an outline. I sent Scotty an outline, and now I have questions that are just popping into my head left and right. On a typical evening between the requests and everything else, how do you break down who's going to play what, when songs get taken off the board because somebody else requested it? How does that all shape out over the course of a night?
That's a really great question, because it's a moving target all the time. It's weighing all the benefits and negatives about everything. So let's say between the 4 of us, if somebody does a really great job on a song, then we'll make sure that that's the guy that sings it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's because we want to give the best show that we can, and we'll even say that to the audience as well. Say, hey, the guy that's coming up is really great at this particular song. So if you don't mind sticking around for, sometimes it's 30 minutes or 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Or it could even be, if they request it right at the top of the hour, it's like, hey, if you can wait an hour, you're going to, trust me, you're going to be really glad that you waited.
Yeah.
That guy does such a great job on it. So it's usually if there's somebody who does a really great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you ever going off do you only do requests, or do you guys kind of have a few in mind that you want to do as well and kind of filter them in? Or
well, at Jellyrolls, there's very little of that. It's I would say 98% request.
Yeah, I mean, you guys get a lot of them.
And if it's something that we do have to choose, a lot of times it's because it was a request. Like the audience will say, play a song that you really like, or play a song. So that is even still a request, even when we're picking them.
Right.
And I love it when the audience can give you a couple of their favorites and then kind of like an open-ended one as well, like Styx or Journey or anything from the 80s. So it's like, okay, well, they're going to like Styx, they're going to like Journey. And so you probably know they're going to like Night Ranger or something too.
Right.
Like, I think that's going to be a good one.
Right.
So those are always fun as well.
And then the 4 of you, when you switch, you usually do a song together.
Yeah.
Is that typically the same song, or you guys know what that is going into it? How does that work?
Usually, well, see, now that one is probably more of a 60-40 split.
Yeah.
So 60% of the time it'll be because somebody requested it. And then the 40% will be like, hey, we're all here. Let's do a song that we really like to sing.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe it's more of a 70-30 split. Because the audience does request those songs that we can sing together. And sometimes they know that we sing together, and sometimes they just really like that song.
Yeah. That's cool.
I find the first time I ever went to Jellyrolls when I was a cast member, the piano player did a mashup of Beatles' "Day in the Life" into Bohemian Rhapsody, which was like the craziest thing. Just that's what like sparked like my love for Jellyrolls and my love for the dueling piano situation in general. And so. In keeping that in mind, like, do you find yourself incorporating different themes into one another? Like, how do you keep yourself on your toes and mix it up for yourself creatively?
Yeah. Well, number one, I can assure you that's not the craziest thing. I can assure you, after being there 18 years, there's been some really, really crazy things, and it's fun. And gosh, one that I can think of in particular, and this was only about 2 weeks or maybe a week before the shutdown, and Disney World closed and the hotels closed. And so Disney World was closed. The hotels were closing. And so Jellyrolls is still open. And it's like, this is crazy. Like, why are we open? What are we doing here?
Right.
And the management said, look, these people are here. We have to give them something, and Disney isn't letting them ride Space Mountain, so we gotta do something for them.
Yeah.
So anyway, we must have had like 12 people at Jellyrolls, and you know how big Jellyrolls is.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's a lot more fun when there's more people. So there were like 12 or 15 people.
Oh my gosh.
And so it was like this. It was like a conversation instead of a show.
Yeah.
And so somebody said, I want to hear the song from Moana, How Far I'll Go, but I want you to sing it like Bob Dylan. I mean, at this point, it's like, I have no choice. I have to do it. So they're all like, I've been at the edge of the water. And so anyway, I wouldn't say even that's the craziest thing, but that's just an example of some of the crazy stuff.
But probably your most your most popular ask, I would assume, is Kermit. I mean, that's, I mean, do you ever not get that request? I mean,
no, actually, yeah. Probably in the course of a week, I might only get it requested 2 out of the 4 days that I'm there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad. How did that come about?
So, okay. So when I started, so whenever a new piano player starts, it's a matter of, what does this guy already know? What does this performer already know? And what are they capable of learning? And what else can they bring to the table? So when I started, I said, what should I do? And one of the guys said, why don't you sing that Rainbow Connection song like Kermit the Frog? They used to have a guy that did that.
Okay.
And his name was Pete, but Pete hadn't been at Jellyrolls for a couple of years at that point, and said, we're still getting requests for Rainbow Connection. That's when I said, I've never tried to sing like Kermit the Frog, but let me see. And I did it, and they were like, that sounds just like it. And I was like, all right, cool. I guess I'll start doing that. And then it turned into, you have to do the Kermit the Frog thing. And so that turned into my thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Funny. That's the song that I danced with my mom to at my wedding. That was our mother-son dance.
That's cool. That's so funny.
So yeah, you mentioned, what do you know? Because obviously, and this is like asking an actor, like, how do you memorize all your lines? But how do you maintain like the vast library of songs that are in your head? What's your rehearsal process like? How often a day are you playing to keep yourself familiar with the songs, and then adding the popular songs of today to that mix? Yeah. Like what's your normal process of approaching that?
So that's a really great question too. And it's hard to really describe, except I always say that music is a language. So, and a lot of people think of it like, oh yeah, it's a language, but like, oh yeah, you talk to other people through music. It's like when I hear songs, I hear the relationships of all the chords. And so it doesn't take too long for me to learn the music of a song, just because it's a language. It's like if somebody recited a really short poem, you might be able to remember some of the words. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now words are the complete opposite. It's so hard to learn words, and it's so hard to memorize them. That's the hardest thing for me. So sometimes, and I talked about how music is a language, sometimes I don't even think of what the words are. I think of what it sounds like. And that helps me. So I hope that answers your question. Mostly it's about when I sit down to learn a song, I can figure out, it's like when you look at a building, you know where the roof is, you know where the door is, you can see how the windows work together. That's kind of what a song is too. Like when I listen to a song, it's like I can hear the structure of the song. Yeah. So it doesn't take too long. Like the music usually doesn't take too long to learn. That's kind of an easy one.
Because it is crazy when you guys go into your mashups and you can have a rap song and a rock song and a ballad, like just string together, and you just watch like, how do they have all these words? How do they know all of this? And they could just go right from one to the other. It's crazy to watch.
That's funny too. I've been doing the live streams and my wife helps me. So she'll, I got my phone kind of off far enough back where you can see my piano, and but I can't read any of the comments. Yeah. So she reads the comments and she puts them on a dry erase board. So I know like what people are asking about. Yeah. Well, there was a time like this was last week. She's like pointing while I'm trying to talk. Yeah. And so I had to tell her, look, if you want to point to songs and stuff, like if you want to tell me there's certain songs that are important, do it when I'm singing. Yeah. Like I can focus. I can't focus on two things when I'm talking. Yeah. I can focus on like two things when I'm playing. It's just like I'm just playing music, so that's like nothing. Yeah. So it's that's kind of an interesting thing.
It's like a second nature, other sense for you that's so natural. Yeah.
So when I string together a medley, while I'm playing the one song, my mind's already thinking, how do I get to that next song? Yeah. So, and when it really works, it is so cool. I mean, sometimes there's a bit of a hiccup, but when it really jives and it really works and it sounds like it's seamless and one song's going into the next. Yeah. That's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Have there been songs or a song that has eluded you for a period of time that you like had to conquer, that you had to like, why can't I get the sound the way I want it?
Oh gosh, no, all the time. In fact, probably every song.
Every single song ever.
Yeah, I mean, when you sit down and you, it's like, if I have to sit down and really work on a song, it's because I want to get the details right. You know what I mean? Like I said, like you could probably draw a picture of your house from when you were a kid. Yeah. It's not going to be like the more familiar you are with that house, the more details you'll be able to put on it. Yeah. So when I sit down and I really, really want to conquer a song, it's like I want to hear exactly how these notes fit. So I'll give you an example. Africa by Toto. That one eluded me. That one was kind of, I was like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get it. Yeah. So for years and years, there were, every time we would play Africa, are you familiar with the song? Yeah. The little flute solo?
My son is very big into yacht rock. And if you go to any kind of yacht rock playlist, he's 5, you go to any kind of yacht rock playlist, Africa is automatically played. So I have been hearing it even more lately than I ever did before.
So there's like a flute solo. It was played on a keyboard. And the way the guy plays it is with 2 hands, because it's two notes at a time. And so I was saying to myself, because I went to school for classical piano. I was like, there's got to be a way to play both of those parts in one hand.
Yeah.
And I know there's got to be a way to do it. So I sat down and worked on it and worked on it. And I figured it out, and I got it. So that's one of those that I'm like really proud of.
Yeah.
And then I showed the guys at work, like, this is how if you do it like this, you'll be able to get it. And so now the guys at Jellyrolls do that too with the one hand, which is cool. Another one that like really took me forever was It's the End of the World as We Know It.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to learn every single word of this song.
Yeah.
and so I put my nose to the grindstone on that one and really, but that was more of a lyrics thing than a music thing.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting. I heard you. I remember you talking about how you pick up the music on Friday nights. Well, Friday night, May 1st live stream. And how did you decide? Like, you know what? I'm just going to dive into these live streams. And how soon after everything shut down did you decide to do them? Because I know I've only been picking them up the last 2.5, 3 weeks or so.
So Jellyrolls, I got the call from Jellyrolls that we were closed on St. Patrick's Day, the 17th of March. Mm-hmm. And we all kind of knew that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But when we got it was just a matter of time. So we got the call, and I said to my wife, I think I'm just going to go live and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And so it was a thing on Facebook, like go live, and so it's just one button. And I was like, let's just see how this goes. And then I was like so surprised by the number of people that were there. I was like, maybe like if 10 people come, like that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it was like 30, and then it was 40, and then it was 60. I was like in the hundreds. I was like, what is going on? So that just turned into, it was like, you know what? I think this is going to be something that's going to be fun for me. And I think people are going to enjoy it. It might help pass this time, and it'll definitely help me maintain my song list and maintain my singing and my playing and my performing chops. Because otherwise I don't want to go back up on stage having not played for an audience in 2 months. Yeah. So that scared me.
Well, I think what's so great about it too is that, especially for big fans of Disney, that it feels like an authentically Disney experience right now that you're getting on Facebook Live, streaming, what have you. That it's like, wow, this is as close as I'm gonna, that you can get right now because people are requesting through the messages and everything else. So it feels very organic and like the experience. And you've had the lights go, and you've had someone to put tip in the jar and stuff like that. So you keep adding these little morsels that make more and more of the experience.
And you talk a lot about the audience, and obviously the audience plays a huge part at Jellyrolls. Did you always involve them in terms of coming up to the stage? I know I've been on stage for the bring back so I've put people up on stage for that. So was that something you guys were always doing from the beginning, or did that develop over time?
That was in place when I started.
Okay.
So they already had that going. That was part of the business model, is 2 pianos playing songs that everybody can sing along to, and getting involved and doing things. Back then we were doing fins to the left and fins to the right. We were doing a lot of things that involved the audience. So,
and I literally just thought of this. Here's a tangent and a side note that it doesn't need to be shared, but it will now. So because you guys sing Sweet Caroline, but the audience says this song sucks, our parents only sing it that way now. That song was played at my wedding, and my mom is on video going, "This song sucks." I'm like, "We're at the wedding. What are you doing?"
That is great.
And people are like, "Why are you saying that?" It's because of Jellyrolls. It is the power of Jellyrolls.
Yeah.
I literally just thought of that as a.
So I mean, the idea of crowd interaction was part of Jellyrolls from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Now, awesome. How that crowd interaction actually happened, changes from night to night. But then you have something like that, and then it turns into a tradition, and it turns into something that that everyone knows to do.
Yep.
And so, those things are a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite? You might answer all groups, but bachelorette parties, graduation parties, anniversaries, family reunions. What are some of your favorite kind of groups to play for?
Well, there are many. I would say nurses and teachers are always fun. I mean, they just always want to have fun.
Yeah.
So nurses and teachers are great. I would say bachelorette parties are tough. Like it's tough because that they've got one day to do what they always dreamed they needed to do.
Yeah.
Everybody has bachelor and bachelorette parties both. You're doing shots, or you're getting signatures, or you're doing this, or you're doing that.
Yeah.
So those things can be a little bit tricky. So some of my favorites are just the families that come in. So I'll give you an example. There was an 80-year-old woman from New York. She must have been, her name is Jean. And so she came to Disney with her daughters and granddaughters. So it was like a girls' trip to Disney to celebrate grandma's 80th birthday.
Awesome.
So they brought her into Jellyrolls, and of course, you know what's going to happen. They're going to leave. Like, that's not. So anyway, they said it's our grandma Jean's birthday. It's her 80th birthday, and I said, and they said she's from New York. I said, here, we're going to get all the guys in the room, and we're going to get Jean to sit in the front row. And we're going to have an all-male review in the kick line. And all the guys wanted to do it. Like, you couldn't stop any of the guys from coming up. They all wanted to do it. They all wanted to participate and celebrate this 80-year-old's birthday. She stayed the entire night. And it turned into an annual tradition. This was 4 years ago. So she's been coming to Jellyrolls for her birthday every year since her 80th birthday.
Funny. That's awesome.
If I had to pick like my favorite group, it would be that kind of thing. Like, like where families are they just have a great time together. Yeah. And especially when they didn't think they were going to.
Right.
Right. That's great. The turnaround is always great. Yeah. Whenever whenever you see people like get converted, I think that's how I was the first time I went to Jellyrolls. I was like, I don't know why. And then I was like, oh no, I'm hooked. I'm hooked on the interaction, and I'm hooked on the talent, and I'm hooked on the atmosphere. Yeah. It's really
now the other group I should tell you about, because when you guys were cast members, it was probably Tuesday night, which was the big Jellyrolls night. So now we've got Sunday night. And I mean, that's a lot of fun too. A lot of camaraderie, and a lot of times the cast members are college program, and so some are coming, some are going, and so that's always a fun group to play with too, because they're making memories in the present, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
Musically today, who is really influencing you who gives you that spark that you're hearing that, is within, this being 2020, the last 10 years, that you're like, oh my God, I love their music. It can be someone everyone knows. It could be somebody few people know, whatever it is. But currently, because we all, as we get older here, me especially, I'm like, I don't know any of the new music.
For yourself.
I don't know.
You don't even know who these people are.
So I've always, just as my personality, I've always enjoyed older music. So music takes, I take a while to warm up to certain music. Yeah. So, I now can appreciate 90s music. I didn't enjoy it back then. Yeah. And so if you ask who I like now, ask me in 20 years. Yeah. Because I don't know. Like, I can't really get behind the Justin Bieber thing, and I can't really get behind the Lizzo thing. Yeah. It's just not my thing,
Are you being requested, Lizzo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel, because my husband, his side gig is a wedding videographer, and he's like, they request Lizzo to that DJ and everyone goes nuts. He's like, I don't get it, but they go nuts for it. So
yeah,
happening there.
We're the old parents now saying,
What is this noise that you guys want to hear? What is this? Yeah, that's funny. Who are your favorites to play, and overall, your favorite artists to play?
So some of my favorites are Frank Sinatra and Michael Bublé. One of my favorite bands is the Beach Boys. So like I love that, like 60s, like Motown. I love Motown stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. You mentioned yacht rock.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really enjoying that kind of stuff now too. Like those are a lot of fun to play. And again, because it brings the generations together. You know, you got the kids that only know it from Guardians of the Galaxy, and then you've got the parents that are like, how in the world do my kids know these songs? Like, cool, like we can sing these songs together. Yeah. So I think that's a great thing. My musical influences are mostly that Beach Boys, Temptations, that kind of stuff from the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. Do you dip into show tunes sometimes? Is there specific musicals you find yourself playing more than others, and ones that you like to play more than others?
Well, yeah. So I really enjoyed musicals as a kid. In high school, I was in every musical throughout my 4 years of high school.
Yeah.
So that was always a fun thing for me. As far as playing it at Jellyrolls, we don't get too much of the classic stuff. Like my favorite musical of all time is Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, but nobody ever requests.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know, they're requesting Greatest Showman, and they're requesting Dear Emmett Hansen, which I still need to learn a Dear Emmett.
Oh, yeah.
They're requesting
Hamilton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what is it? Like Wicked? Wicked gets requested a lot.
Yeah.
So so musicals is another genre but see, that's the beauty of Jellyrolls. It's literally every kind of music. Yeah. You know, people will request even classical stuff, which is kind of fun too, because like we don't get the chance to do that often. Yeah. And then we get back to the Sweet Carolines, and we get back to the you know, man. Yeah.
Right.
Like, it doesn't hurt anyone to play a minute and a half of a Chopin song that you might get a kick out of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned Dear Evan Hansen, because I'm like, oh, I could totally hear you doing Dear Evan Hansen songs. And as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So interesting. Favorite, like, just the name, or like, you have a favorite Billy Joel song do you play? Because we're Long Islanders, we got to ask.
Yeah.
We're obligated.
So my wife's favorite and my dad's favorite is the Root Beer Rag. So that's for a hardcore Billy Joel fan.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Most Billy Joel people, like, if they say play Billy Joel and I play that, they're like, I don't know what that was.
That's not what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a sweet one. But I guess, I mean, my go-tos for Billy Joel are usually My Life. People really enjoy that one. Yeah. And Just the Way You Are would be kind of, if somebody says any Billy Joel and it's kind of a slower night or it's kind of a cool vibe, then I'll do Just the Way You Are.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard Moving Out there a few times too. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's
a big one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We started getting more requests for Miami 2017.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a real big one now too.
Yeah.
I love that song.
That's awesome. Can't go wrong with Billy Joel. That's some good stuff.
So the live streams, because as we're recording this, you just did like a stream in honor of National Astronaut Day. Are you thinking ahead to other themed days?
Well, no. So they reached out to me, and in fact, I was already friends with an astronaut, or a woman who trained astronauts.
Okay. Like you do. Awesome.
Like everyone.
If I can tell you this story, this is a good story. So the first day I met her was at Jellyrolls, and she came in. It was her birthday. It was girls' night out, and so we were talking to her, and we said, "Where's your husband? Why aren't you out with your husband your birthday? And she said, well, my husband went to outer space, so I'm having a birthday at Disney World, and I don't care what anybody says about it. So we played Rocket Man for her, and it was kind of like, but so her husband was on the International Space Station.
Wow.
Which was like crazy cool.
Yeah.
So I got to talking to her, and we became friends. And so when I started doing the live streams, she reached out to me and she said, we've got this educational program for May 5th. And it's going to be in honor of the astronauts, but it's to encourage kids to think about going into science and STEM and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She said, would you like to do it? And I was like, I don't know what I would do. I'm just a piano player.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, just like play Rocket Man and play songs about space or like something. So anyway, when she said that, I started looking up, like, what could I do? And I started getting really into it and like doing the research. And so I came up with a 14-song program that I did.
Yeah.
And it was like 45 minutes of music and everything from classical. And then we did Here Comes the Sun, which was a song that they would play to wake up the astronauts.
Okay.
Oh,
wow. That's
and
cool.
then, Fly Me to the Moon, Frank Sinatra, which was the first song that was ever played on the surface of the moon.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, so there's like cool little stories with all these things. So anyway, I don't think I'm going to be doing another theme show like that again. I only did it because Michelle asked me to.
Yeah.
And I was happy to be part of it, but I don't know if I could come up with
the theme a day. You have mentioned your wife helps you with the live streams. Can you tell us the story of you and your wife, since we were talking offline a little bit, and it seems like you met in the parks?
Well, we met. Well, she was a character performer at Disney. So she worked in entertainment, and at the time, so we met at Jellyrolls.
Okay.
It happened to be one of those cast member nights that I was telling you about. So that was Tuesday night, and every week I just kept seeing this blonde girl, and so we just hit it off. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's it. That's it.
It's just like that.
And does she have a particular favorite that you play? Like, what was her jam going in early on?
So we have similar tastes of music. So her dad was friends with Frank Sinatra when he was alive.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So he's Uncle Frank. So so like when I would sing my Frank Sinatra songs and I would try to put that Frank Sinatra swag on it.
Yeah.
It always made her smile.
I can't even imagine, by the way, when that came up in conversation as you're getting to know each other. Like, so my dad, well, he was actually friends with Frank Sinatra. I called him Uncle Frank. Anyway, like, wait, what? Okay, this is it. We're done. We can.
He tells the story of when she threw up. He was at their house. She threw up in his shoe.
Awesome.
But anyway, but anyway, so we hit it off with that kind of old music.
Yeah.
Her first crush was Mike Love of the Beach Boys.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So and since I love the Beach Boys too, like we always enjoyed singing Beach Boys songs.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously our musical tastes don't line up exactly. Like she loves like that 90s hip hop stuff. And I'm just kind of like, man, where did you listen to this? Is this the country music now? And I'm like, what is?
Yeah, what's happening here?
So that's kind of, in a nutshell, that's Amanda.
Yeah.
Scotty, you're in the camp that Pet Sounds is the greatest album of all time. That's often in the debate.
It's great. It is absolutely great. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not an album guy. I think I'm too young to be an album guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I didn't consume albums as a kid.
That way.
Yeah. Like I enjoy each song. I mean, I enjoy how albums work, but I don't know enough great albums to say Pet Sounds is the best. But I will say that Smile, when he did Smile when Brian Wilson came out with Smile in 2004.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with that. I enjoyed that the whole way through.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll ask you about one more artist here, since I heard you do a song on the live stream. We're a big Barry Manilow household, so and I heard you do Copa the other day. What else is in your Barry Manilow repertoire that I know to put on a napkin for next time?
Okay, so Can't Smile Without You is the one I'm working on right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
In fact, I just got a message from a lady that said that she and her dad watched the live stream, and her mom passed away a couple years ago. And so I get a lot of really heart-touching stories from people that are watching the live streams. And so sometimes they'll reach out and they'll say, like this lady in particular said, my dad really loves Can't Smile Without You, and it always reminds him of my mom. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to work that out. I'll probably play that on Friday for them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Barry Manilow. The other ones, let's see. Copacabana is a big one, and probably Looks Like We Made It.
Yeah.
That's the other one I like.
Nice.
Can't Smile Without You. That was what my mom and I danced to at my wedding. So I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah.
But have you set specific days of the week for the live stream, or are you just kind of rolling with the schedule as it happens?
So I started, when I first did it, I mean, I had no intention of doing it often. It was just a one-time thing that I thought would be fun. But the response was overwhelming. So I started just doing it on weekday evenings. And so I did that for about 2 weeks. And then I said, you know, this is a little bit exhausting.
Yeah.
and quite frankly, there were so many people doing great live streams that I had to miss because I was doing mine. So I wanted to watch my friends do their shows as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule now.
Okay.
So Monday is 9 p.m. Eastern. Friday is 9 p.m. Eastern. And Wednesday, I got a lot of notes from people in Europe that said we can't stay up till 4 in the morning. So I do an afternoon show on Wednesday, which happens to be evening time for Scotland and Austria.
That's cool.
Cool. And so the easiest way to do that is just by liking your Facebook page and clicking on the notification to get the updates, because I get the little light.
Yeah. How do you see everything kind of coming back to life when everything reopens?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of us are ready to start seeing something happen.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be 100% go with the flow. Whatever they say we need to do, I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And I know that Disney is trying to get open. Disney wants to start making magic again. But naturally, there are going to be things that are different, and so we're just gonna have to roll with the punches, and I'm just gonna go along with it. I'm hoping it's sooner than later. But of course, safety is the main priority.
Yeah.
Before we go, Jen, what were your normal songs that you would write on a napkin?
Oh God.
This has been the highlight of your podcast.
I know. I probably do Billy Joel. I think if I was with my friend Paul, we have to request Journey. Don't Stop Believing. And I'm trying to think what else.
Britney with Paul too?
I don't think we've requested. I don't think I ever requested Britney, because I was always like, they're not going to play. If I'm going to hear them play, I want to hear them like really play. So those are probably the go-tos, I would think. Yeah.
Britney Spears' Hit Me Baby One More Time was one of those really tricky songs that it took me a long time.
I think the first time I heard it, I was like, wait, are they playing this? What is happening?
That's one of those songs that it has little nuances in it that it just kind of it helps sell the song if you're able to do those.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just sounds like a sloppy mess.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I love Jellyrolls personally. If I could just take a moment to say my appreciation for all that Jelly. I mean, I was never a big Pleasure Island person. So even when it was open, I would always much rather be at Jellyrolls, but I love the atmosphere. I love the live music. I love how much everyone gets involved in it and enjoys it and has fun with it. And I love seeing people come with me for the first time and seeing their experience. It's so cool. And it is kind of, I mean, we talk a lot about pockets of Disney that kind of are nostalgic to us and kind of remind us of growing up and all of that. But I kind of feel like, although I wasn't a kid going to Jellyrolls, but Jellyrolls is kind of this pocket where if you know about it, it's like this hidden gem where it's such a good time at night, especially if you don't have kids with you. We all went on a big family trip in January 2018. So we were able to kind of swap nights with the kids and get out. So, and it was me and my husband's anniversary. So we're like, we're going to Jellyrolls. We haven't been now in like 2 years because we were with the kids and we couldn't get over there. So it's just such a good time when you're there. I mean, and you guys are awesome. So.
It is a blast. I like the interaction. The interaction is that's what makes it different than any other thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Being able to interact, and when people want to get up on stage and celebrate their anniversary or their birthday or just anything, it's fun to have a whole room of strangers all together, like doing the same thing and just having fun. So
and people meet that way, and you're kind of cheering each other on, or you're wishing happy birthdays or whatever it is. You get to know some other people. It's so cool.
Absolutely. I've seen so many people become friends. People that if I could tell another story, people that would come to Disney World and do the princess run. And so they would always come to Jellyrolls afterwards. And so like year after year, like they started seeing each other, and then I started seeing them sitting at the table together. And it's like, this is the coolest thing. Like, and they met at Jellyrolls. Like that, I think that's a wonderful thing. And it's so great. And there's so many stories like that of people that became friends because they wanted to sit in the front, and there was a table that had 2 empty chairs, and they just reached out, and those 4 people become friends. Yeah. There's tons of stories like that. I love that stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, and Disney performers, I don't know. I feel like it's so unique to Disney performers for them to have that recognition of people in the audience too, and able to see the repeat guests and see whether they're growing up or, you know, adding family or whatever it is over the years. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think that's also a bit of the Disney magic, is the ability to like pick that up on any day of the week, that who came back.
Yeah.
And you might think that that's kind of manufactured by Disney, but it's absolutely organic. And especially having been there for 18 years, and I really get to see the same people over and over again. It really is a great thing. It's you know, I think the longer you're a cast member, the more you get to have that chance to make those connections year after year.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, it's so unique and makes Disney what it is. And so hopefully everything gets back to being the way it is down the line here, so you guys can get pumping again.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, we can't thank you enough for this. You were like, an hour? Am I that interesting? I'm like, oh, you're that interesting. Yes, you are. So we can't thank you enough. I mean, it was like literally like, oh, I'm like, well, I'll just reach out. What could be the worst that could happen? And you're like, yeah, sure. I was like, what?
It's an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad you guys reached out, and I can't wait to be with you guys at Jellyrolls when everything opens and we're back to normal again and having fun.
So excited for that.
Yeah.